We all weebs love to joke around how 2D is better than 3D and all of that crap. Actually, 2D is better than 3D, no contest. 2D characters are meant to be an ideal version of a character that you wanted, someone you can bend into whoever and whatever you please. They're the expectation into the 3D's reality, and in case you haven't stepped outside of the world, or if you think that social media in general is a landmine, reality sucks, and there's nothing much we can do to change that. What we can change, however, are the things that we created ourselves, either the ones that we materialize in the world, or the ones that still stay in our perverted degenerate minds. That's why some people's waifus change every anime season, because they're a bunch of disloyal pricks, I guess. Everyone talk about the chatterbait virtual anime girl. I talked about the girl on stream last week, and we all know how many hoes got mad through her presence, but that's not what we're talking about here. Today we will talk about the bad side of loving 2D over 3D, and I'm not talking about the people who actually marry their fictional waifus. Those people are weird, but say what you want about them. At least they're not harming anyone. I'm talking about people who put way too much value on fictional or even real people so much that they actually might end up harming other people in the process. Not physically, obviously, because I doubt that these people even have the balls to commit physical harm. Or the strength. These are what I would consider simps. A simp, in case you're not on any social media lately, means someone who puts too much value on a person, usually women, which causes them to vehemently defend that person when someone talks trash at them. They might even go so far as to cause tangible damage. It's very similar to those white knights defending those awful Twitch streamers and e-girls. Let me show you one old example. Remember this girl from last month?
$5 a month! How do you have hours of time to watch me and not $5?
You might or might not know that this girl has her own simp in the form of this guy.
And the reason why this is getting retweeted and liked so much is because she's an attractive woman who didn't act like a nice person.
That's right, the person over here who called anyone who dared to criticize her sexually frustrated incels. That, my friend, is a simp, and he is projecting himself to everyone. This is how he reacts when he touches real-life women.
I think that's fine. So if a guy pays for my tab,
I think I'm getting your attention.
Look at that face. That's the kind of face of a man that you want to be defending your honor on the interwebs. Now, there's a difference between being a lover and a simp. A lover is like that guy who married his waifu. Sure, it's pathetic, but at the end of the day, it's his lifestyle, and he's not harming anyone. A simp will actually go out of their way to insult people, harass them, and even report them off of social media. They are the ones who might potentially cause damage. These cases are where loving girls can get way too far, and no matter how much you love your waifus or your husbandos, you should never do any of these things. Hell, marry them officially for all I care. Just don't be these people. Exhibit A in the worst of the 2D simps. This is a person that I talked about on stream a couple of weeks ago. So if you have been watching my recent streams, first off, I love you, you're amazing. And second, I'm sorry to say that you will be reminded of how much of a pathetic human being this person is and why I don't want you people to follow in his footsteps. I do want you guys to keep a close eye on my streams because YouTube demonetizes my content every single day, and that's one of the few ways for me to get my revenue. And also follow the footsteps in the description down below, where you can support me and this channel through many means. Sorry, I'll tone down the e-begging, not removing it entirely. This, my friend, is Shinro, some random dude on Twitter whose Ichigo from Bleach profile picture sends a lot of cursed energy. Shinro is a very unique individual that has come to my attention thanks to him going into random people on Twitter and simping on them 2D characters. No, he didn't say that he really loves them and wants to suck on them titties or something. That's just being horny on main. This person will try to protect the fictional character from those evil artists that want to sexualize them. The first thing that this person did that caught my attention was going to a random artist who draw a girl with big titties and asking, why does she need to have huge boobs? Now, the act of simping isn't really limited to having a crush towards a particular character. Simps can be simps if they decided to put way too much value on drawings of characters. These people are thinking that the characters on these drawings are either real characters or will have an impact towards human beings in the real world because, as we all know, most human beings in the real world are a bunch of insecure losers who can't distinguish between fiction and reality. And yes, by this metric, I'm also calling out those rabid My Hero Academia fans Simps. They put way too much value on both the female characters and the male characters, albeit in a different manner. And they're not gonna stop harassing the poor mangaka Horikoshi for drawing too much detail in the female characters' nether regions, or having the characters to have the same birthday as really bad people in the past. No, seriously, that's a thing they did. I can't really say that they're fans, because fans don't behave this way, so I'll call them Simps. Anyway, going back to Shinro, Shinro is one of those Simps who come into random artists on Twitter who draw big boobs and criticize them for drawing big boobs to avoid back problems. Nah, he just loves to simp on those 2D girls, and he's a giant hypocrite too, but we'll get to that. Now, this artist in particular takes a no-nonsense approach and replied to him by saying, "Because I love huge boobs, so I draw it." Based. Absolutely freaking based. How are you going to reply to that, Mr. Shinro?
Take my reply as objective as you can. If you like big boobs, that means you haven't evolved from escaping your mom and dreaming of a place of your own.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, if you like big boobs, that means you're still a mommy's boy and you still live in our house, you pathetic loser. This is clearly an insult meant to shame this artist for liking huge boobs because these simps can't do anything else other than to shame people, call them names, and assuming they're losers who are beneath them. As we've shown previously, these simps are more likely projecting themselves into the people that they called out, so it's no surprise that Shinro himself has his own horny tendencies. He himself actually likes sexy girls, 2D or 3D, and he even tweeted one himself. So by your logic, you haven't evolved from escaping your mom and dreaming a place of your own, right? But that's not all. The argument continues with another base person saying, "The absolute perfect reply. I drew it because I enjoy it is all the justification that it needs." But of course, that is heresy in the eyes of our simp for today.
Shut the fuck up, you ignorant. An artist is an influencer. Must have all the right values in life and put them into action.
Well, Shinro, before you tell people that they should have all the right values in life and put them into action, maybe we should start off with you. Instead of telling these artists that they should follow your values, how about you show them that your values are worth following? How about you lead them by example? You clearly show that you cannot lead by example, so why should we expect this artist to follow you and your brilliant advice? There's also this interesting piece of tweet that he made to damage control the entire thing.
Let me be clear. I love not safe for work art, and not only romantic or sexy or erotic not safe for work art or anime or movies that don't diminish women and children or show them as sexual objects. These kind
Whoa. Hold up. So you admitted that you love not safe for work art, but you only love those that don't diminish women and children or show them as sexual objects. So by this metric, those tweets that have sexy 2D or 3D women that you liked on Twitter are not showing them as sexual objects. But somehow this specific drawing is. This reasoning makes no sense. I think what you're really saying is, I will report the art that I personally don't like. And reporting he did. At some point he tagged Twitter support because he doesn't believe that a Japanese girl that posts pictures on Twitter is 20 years old. Here's a testimony from one user saying he got kicked from an unspecified community for the same things that he's been doing, which is reporting accounts of artworks he doesn't like. Now, 800 accounts reported every 3 hours is hopefully an exaggerated estimate, but I do believe that he has reported hundreds of accounts at least, just to prove that he is an alpha. Yes, he is one of those people who unironically call himself an alpha. I do know of one community that he got kicked out of, or at least according to this testimony. He says that he's taken in his bio because he has deluded himself that a streamer he simped for and got blocked by is his girlfriend. Now, I cannot contain my laughter when this revelation come into my attention, and the chat is enjoying this as well. But this is just sad at this point. This person clearly needs help, but I really can't feel bad for this person though. There's a point where being a simp is so damaging to other people, and that's when you decide that the person who disagree with you should be hounded, harassed, and reported off of social media. That's where you are losing our sympathy. And speaking of being reported, Shinro got his account suspended. Temporarily, he came back last week to another artist named Sakimi-chan who drew a character with big boobs by asking this brilliant question.
Love your art. You are amazing. Can you try to draw babes with normal size boobs? For women with smaller size is objectifying. Think of it this way. If the PP be a thing to draw and everybody would draw male characters with a 10+ inch PP and yours would be like 5 inches, how would you feel?
Wow, brilliant question from our resident simp. Really good, hard-hitting philosophical question there. How would I feel if someone draw penises at 10+ inches while I have only half of that length? I would feel fine. I mean, it's perfectly understandable that women desire big dicks, and that's fine. I don't really care. I shouldn't care. Women who put too much value on a person's dick size are hoes anyway, and men who care too much about their dick size are dumb, insecure people thinking that all women are hoes. And that's the end of the story. For now, this person might come back, so stay tuned in my meme streams at Friday if you want to join in the fun early on. But I think you all get the point. You can be a 2D lover, but you should never be a 2D simp. Exhibit B in the absolute worst of 2D simps. I won't lie when I say that YongYea inspired me to make this video because he too did a video on this simp. A couple of days after the stream where I talk about this 2D simp, I have to commend Yang for keeping a straight face throughout the entire thing, or at least he tried to, because let me tell you, this person is way too much of a lol cow that it's really hard to contain my laughter. The Somnium Files, oh man, how can you get into so many hooplas? The Somnium Files is a fun but incredibly overpriced game made by the creator of the Zero Escape series. If you want to know my opinion on this game, I made a review of the game, link down below or the top right corner somewhere. So what happened with this game again? Well, this game recently got review bomb on Metacritic. Some people speculated that the reason why it got review bomb is because of that scene where the character praises the LGBT community that was rather ham-fisted. But as much as I want to make fun of those anti-LGBT boomers out there, the actual reason is even more pathetic. So no, it's not because of that scene, but because it's from a Reset Era user who made an experiment to prove that games can be review bombed very easily. That's not the real reason. The person review bombed the game because he has a crush on a character in the game, and the game did her character dirty, according to him. Ironically, this character is an idol and a streamer who plays Minecraft. You heard that right. He has a crush on a fictional idol and a Minecraft streamer so much, he review bombed the game when the game didn't depict her in a way that he wanted. Even more ironic, the game has a character named Ota that acts pretty much the same way. So he's basically Ota, and anyone who played the game will know that Ota starts off as a childish character before he got his arc, something that this simp clearly needs. This entire review bombing hoopla has gone to the point where it gained the attention of the creator of the game itself, Kotaro Uchikoshi. He linked the Reset Era thread talking about the review bombing, and if you're new to this channel, I suggest avoiding that trash heap of a website. So you made this big thread talking about how obscure games that not a lot of people care about can have their Metacritic user review scores bombed. You yourself concluded that Metacritic user scores are worthless. Which is a lie. You didn't think that it's worthless. If you think that it is, you wouldn't have review bombed the game. You would just ignore Metacritic scores in general. Now, I agree with the sentiment that Metacritic scores are absolutely worthless, but there are instances where it does matter, like the whole debacle with Warcraft 3 Reforged, and how the game got the absolute worst user rating for a video game in the entire website. This simp over here not only simped over some fictional idol and Minecraft streamer, he also apparently simped to Blizzard by saying that Reforged isn't even that bad of a remaster. That's right, the remaster that removes a lot of features from the original game isn't even that bad of a remaster. And that's a really nice way to put a nail to the coffin of this delusional simp, someone who admitted to have a massive crush on a game character and general attachment issues. Yeah, you have issues, alright? Those are just a couple of examples on the absolute worst of internet simps, so let me conclude with this once again. There's nothing wrong with being a lover of your waifus or your husbandos, but there is something wrong with causing real, tangible damage to other people because they dare to insult your waifus or husbandos, or they dare to draw characters too sexually on the internet, or share the same birthday to a bunch of really bad people in World War... How is this a controversy again? That is at the point where you made the guy who married his waifu in real life to look like a more respectable human being in comparison. And yes, I have more respect to that dude over there than these simps over here.